I was like straight up shivering throughout the course of this game because I was just so tempted to just fucking curse out this void spirit and like give up and just break my items. Like I was really struggling not to do that. Okay, I'm just telling you guys right now. I was actually fucking shivering during this game. And it's not because I'm sad, it's because I'm literally fighting like this insanely strong urge to do something that I know I'm not supposed to do. Or like that's not correct, you know?
Banana slam jam.
So the reason why I'm making this video is a game that was probably the most free win in the history of Dota for our team turns into a loss due to what I believe is a situation that pretty much everyone you ask, including viewers, would give a different reason. So what I want to do is I want to talk about this game from my perspective with the assertion that I am not saying I'm right. I want to give an objective opinion about what I did and why, and then we'll talk about everything that happened in the game. So, to be clear, I have been accused of being very robotic, basically having like a script for a Dota game by a lot of high MMR players. You know, BSJ just does the same thing over and over again, builds the same items, that kind of stuff. So, in the recent past, maybe the last year or so, I've tried to look at games as like each individual moment, what's going to happen next, how I adjust to like the current state of the game, and moving forward. So, what that also entails for someone like myself when I'm doing that is that you're going to build items or like try skill builds that you're not sure will work, but I am 100% like consciously thinking about why I built those items. So to be very clear, you're going to see a very weird Slark build here. I've played a lot of games of Slark. I'm not memeing. I was not purposely losing this game. I consciously was thinking about what was happening in the game and decided to do this. Does that make me right? Absolutely not. But I want to narrate my thought process for the first 25 minutes of the game and then talk about, from my perspective, basically being confused, because this is something that has happened a lot in my games. I don't particularly enjoy games like this, but I think this is probably something that's going to happen to a lot of you at low MMRs. More so, I'd say probably the lower MMRs you are, the more often it happens. I'd say it's probably the most prevalent at like 3 or 4K. Not saying that's like the lowest MMR, but that's like the MMR where people know a lot about Dota, so they like think they're right a lot of the time, but yet they're still like not the best kind of thing. Let's just talk about it. So my lane was a bit obnoxious. It was a little annoying. I have a 5 Phoenix. He didn't do like some terrible job, but I didn't get the best CS. Notice how I have 41 CS in 9 minutes. At my bracket, that's whatever. I'm 0-2. I died at the rune, and then I died one more time in lane to like a 3-man gank. Here I am getting gone on again. But this is the state of the game. I looked, and I've seen that Jug is level 5. I've seen this. I'm like, oh, Jug's level 5. So I look at this and say, okay. I built a hood because their team is, other than Jug Omnislash, which doesn't do any damage yet, they're like 98% magic damage. So I decided, I'm like, you know, people go hood on PL. I've even gone hood on Slark in other patches. If I was ever going to go hood on Slark, this seems like the game to do it. So I said, I'm going to try hood. I end up narrowly escaping this gank, but what ends up happening was Veno won top really hard. And since Jug lost, there's like nothing for the opponent to do other than like run at me. But I'm like a Slark, so there's no towers to take. And since I had a little bit of a rough start, I kind of just want to chill. I'm like in farm mode. I'm not like trying to do things on the map. So from my knowledge of Slark, some of his hardest games are ones where the opponent kind of just has a lot of damage on the ground. And I last picked Slark here with the idea that it scales really well against Morphling Jug, and that all of their disables were dark pactable, and that we could just kind of outmaneuver them on the map. Because I have good mobility, we have good lane shove by Veno, and I'm thinking, we don't really have to confront these guys, like, head on. And especially because we're winning, I figure I'm going to let my Veno keep farming top, I'm going to let my Void Spirit get his aggressive items, and I'm going to take the dangerous farm bottom and just be survivable while doing so. That is my thought process. Am I wrong? Let's, like, ignore my opinion on whether or not I'm right or wrong, right? Like, ignore that aspect. Because I know for you guys, you're all going to have your own story about what you see here. and it also goes for your own games. So you're going to have your own story about what you think you're doing and also what your teammates are doing. So let's just fast forward a bit. So you're going to see that I'm continuing to take the dangerous farm. And I look at the map and I say, my team is like shutting down the Morphling. They're shutting down the Jug. I'm farming down here just fine. I queued up the treads thinking like, oh, maybe we can turn this into a bit of aggression. But I'm literally like, wow, my team's owning. We're ahead 9-2. And I just want to keep farming bottom. Because I don't need to give this lane to any of my supports. They've got good levels. Void Spirit Venno want to keep pressuring. Notice how they're like pushing mid tower and everything. And I'm like, oh, I guess like the farming part of the game is going to last a bit longer. So I'm going to go for a Midas. But also, because I don't want to fight them head on, I don't want to like ever push into their heroes. They have a lot of heroes that need to farm. Sand King needs to farm. Morphling needs to farm. And Jug needs to farm. So the way I saw this game was the opponent is really strong as a ball because they have really good team fight. CM plus Willow is really nice for team fight. But they also need to farm. And I'm a Slark. Since they can't really kill me, and I can keep farming, my thought process is let's, like, split the map, shut them down individually if they ever try to separate, and because they have, like, kind of scary-ish team fight, look to, like, pick them off based on advantage of numbers. That's my theory of this game. So this is a perfect example where Slark, I'm just farming, and Sand King comes into the area that I'm farming. This is what I mean by, like, controlling an area and just kind of, like, out-farming the opponent. You may say, like, BSJ, your items are completely fucking useless. But I'm able to completely control an area and kill somebody with a +1 who comes into my area. So I would argue that my hero is quite impactful. I'm preventing the opponent from ever taking a tower, because we always talk about this tower being their #1 objective. I'm not only preventing them from taking that tower, but I'm also preventing them from farming this area. And I'm allowing my team to do whatever they want. So notice how we're gaining an advantage. Like, it's been about 3k for a while. But my team is going to keep fighting, and that's fine. Like, how many carries in the game are farming at 15 minutes into the game? A lot of them. Like, this isn't some crazy-ass shit. You know, carries farm at this stage in the game. Jug's farming. I'm pressuring towers. I'm not just, like, AFK hitting jungle creeps. Doing some damage to a tower. We're up by 5k now. There's no fucking rocket science here. Ignore the fact that I'm a Slark. Look at the way I'm playing. Like, I want to ignore my items, and I want to, like, ignore that I'm a Slark. Just think about the way I'm playing. Even if you think my build is fucking atrocious, and you think, like, what the fuck are you doing? You're fucking insane. BSJ, you fucking suck. This is clearly your fault. I haven't even seen the whole game yet. Just think about what I'm doing in the game. Is this not what a lot of carries do? In terms of the playstyle. Pushing in the lane, farming some jungle camps, forcing rotations, maybe killing the guy that comes into your lane. All these things seem completely normal to me. Nothing weird here. Yes, the item build may look strange to you, but the playstyle is completely normal. It's like, we went for a play, didn't work out. I have treads there, that's the exact same play. So let's keep fast forwarding. So I said, a lot of carries are going like travels and shit, and I'm curious if it would work on Slark. That's literally like what my thought process is here. I don't have like a better answer for you. I'm like, So I'm looking to split them up on the map. They can't, like, function independently. They can't kill me unless they have, like, 3 or 4 heroes. So what if I farm away from my team all game, but then show up to fights with travels? And let's be very clear what I mean by show up to fights. What I mean is, when the opponent is separated because I forced a reaction, I'm going to show up. Because we have, like, a numbers advantage. And we have the lead. We can completely do whatever the fuck we want in the game. Notice how I'm farming an area of the map at all times, controlling an area, doing whatever the fuck I want, while my team's grouping up and taking objectives. This is not some crazy-ass shit that you never do as a carry, right? So let's keep fast-forwarding. I'm just giving you, like, the theory behind a really wonky item build. I know it's wonky. So I'm like, okay, I want to buy an item that's, like, somewhat defensive, but, like, allows me to fight, but I also, like, if I go BKB, they kind of just, like, walk away from me because I have Travel's Hood. So pick up some bounties, keep pressuring top. The game's, like, we're nothing but extending our lead. So even if you want to say, like, hey, BSJ, your build sucks, yada, 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 we've gone from 3k net worth lead to 8k in 8 minutes. So, and you can say, like, your team's doing it without you, but isn't this the exact same thing as what happened bottom? I am controlling an entire lane on the map. Like, they can't do anything in the lane I'm in. Like, so I would beg to differ if you think I'm having no impact in this game. They haven't gone bottom the entire game because of me, and now that I went top, the one guy that goes top dies. So what building items like this does is when you're winning and you know you can just outfarm the opponent, it makes it so that they have to like group up and make like really awkward plays. And I love to do that when the opponent doesn't want to group. You know, like if they have some 5-man barrel down lanes, you know, Death Prophet Lycan lineup, this shit probably isn't going to work because that's what they want to do anyway. They want a 5-man. But I'm dealing with a Morph who wants to farm, a Sand King who wants to farm, and a Jug with a Battle Fury who wants to farm. So what I'm thinking is we're going to split them up on the map because we're ahead, and we're just going to keep getting more ahead. Like, we're just going to keep getting more and more ahead. Like, isn't that what's been happening for the last 9 minutes? That was my theory. You know, whether I'm right or wrong and how I executed it, that was my theory. So let's keep talking. Game looks absolutely free. Looping around, pushed in top, show up to a fight, kill their carry. It's not like I'm completely non-existent in this game. The K to D may say otherwise to most of you, but I would argue I'm not non-existent. Now I'm going to take their triangle while Jug's respawning. I'm not even going to stack it because I have no way of clearing it fast. I'm now yoinking farm from the opponent with Boots of Travel, Midas, and a Yasha. I would say if I'm stealing farm from the opponent with these items, I'm not exactly playing greedy. So, okay, we're going to keep it going. So this is the stage in the game where it gets really weird to me. Up until this point, we've been forcing the opponent to separate, and anytime we have the numbers advantage, because like in that last example, Sand King TP top, we just killed them. Like, that's exactly what's happened for the last 12 minutes in a row. Like, that's what's been happening, right? We've all seen it. Like, here's Jug dying again. He's all by himself just dying. Now the opponent is stuck in their triangle. My Vino's pushing top, I'm pushing bottom, opponent's stuck in their triangle. This is like the script of an amazing game, right? Like, this is exactly what we want to do. I now have Sanj and Yasha. I'm like much more survivable, more durable in team fights. I'm like just ramping up more and more. Like, I'm just getting stronger. So Swift Blink, I theory crafted that this is the best damage item I can buy. It's basically a Silver Edge. Like, that's like what I'm thinking it as. Because Silver Edge compared to Swift Blink just sucks. Like, let's just be honest. They don't have anything we need to break. And in this patch in general, Silver Edge is just strictly worse than Blink. Like, they just overbuffed Swift Blink. So I'm thinking, yeah, we're playing the map kind of like a Silver Edge Slark would play the map, where we're separating them, out-farming them, picking them off. So I'm just going to go for an item that does that. Like, let's just keep doing this. It's, like, clearly working. And so that's my theory. Let's keep playing it out. So what we see on the map right now, just to be very clear, is the entire enemy team is right here. Like, we see this. We know this. They're all 5 there. So my argument is 21 minutes in the game. They have 3 heroes that need to farm, especially their 2 cores, a Jug with a Battle Fury. And when you have a hero with a Battle Fury, all you're going for is real estate. All we're trying to do is farm more camps and lanes than they are. Like, that's Dota, right? That's what we're trying to do. So I'm, like, looking at this map, and I'm thinking, dude, this is dope. Like, this Jug has, like, 2 camps that he's splitting with his team, and, like, 1 lane when it pushes into his tier 2. That's, like, what he's farming right now. Even after killing Vino, that's, like, what he's farming. While, on the other hand, I'm literally doing whatever the fuck I want. So for me, I'm like, this is dope. I love this game. Get a kill on Willow using our ultimate. Get a kill on Jug. End up barely dying there. Unfortunate. Overextended a little bit. You know, take the blame. I probably could have played that better. Like, I'm not discounting my mistake. I made a mistake. You know, life happens. Still 10k advantage. Jug died, so it's not like the end of the world. We lost a 3k advantage there. But I'm like, okay, just run it back. I tried fighting them. Didn't work out that well. Let's just go back to what we were doing. Jug just died again, because he's got no Manta against an Orchid Void Spirit. So let's look at the map right now. We're taking over their triangle. We're right back to where we were. After that one engagement, we lost like 1,500 net worth advantage. Look at what they're doing. Look at the opponent. They're literally sitting inside of their fucking base, jacking off. Like, they're not farming a single camp on the map. Meanwhile, my Rubik's taking an outpost, my Phoenix is farming jungle camps, and my Void Spirit's clearing top, and I'm clearing all the farm on their triangle. So for me, this is like awesome. Like, holy shit, this is dope. Like, we're just farming. This is so sick. And I look at the map right now, and Jug respawns, right? They're all respawned, they're alive, they're ready to go. And let's be very clear here. I checked my teammates' items. I wasn't really sure how the game was going to progress. So I checked my teammates' items. Okay, like, I wanted to see, like, if my Veno has, you know, like, Greaves Pipe, for instance. that means my team is like gearing up to fight them. Like that's what I'm thinking. You know, if my teammate has like Greaves Pipe and my Void Spirit has like Orchid Ags BKB, you know, that means my teammates are like, let's fucking go, let's fight them. Like that's what I'm thinking, right? Like if I see those items. So an emphasis I would give is whenever I look at my teammates' items, I like have this assumption of how they want to play. You know, like if they have Boots of Travel, like I do, I'm gonna be split pushing. If they have Guardian's Greed Pipe, they're gonna walk down a lane in 5-man, right? So I look at my teammates' items. So obviously I have very split pushy items, but this is what Rubik has. Okay. This is what Void Spirit has. He's 200 gold off of a BKB, Boots of Travel. And this guy's got a Meteor Hammer. So I'm like, yeah, we have like a decent team fight lineup and everything, but I have 2 people with a Boots of Travel and no aura items. Like the Vino went very greedy with his items, which means like his items are good for him and like you know, he kind of fucks over the guy he Spirit Vessels. But none of these things like buff me up. None of these things are like team fight oriented items. I literally look at every hero on my team and I see no team fight items. Like that's what I've been seeing. So I'm like, okay, like why are we gonna team fight? That makes no sense. So I told my team like they're all respawn. They're probably coming at you top. Be careful. That's what I said. So I would ask you, ignore what you think about the build. If you look at your teammates' items here and you look at my items, would you try to take a 5v5? Like, based on everything I've said to you, maybe I haven't like even slightly convinced any of you. Would you take a 5v5 here? I would not. Like, that's my idea. I would not. My Void's 200 off of BKB. We've got literally 3 Boots of Travel and no team fight items. So we're up by 11k, but 7,500 of that is Boots of Travel, and another 2,000 is my Midas. So we're up by 9,500 gold worth of travels and Midas, okay? So with that in mind, I'm just like, okay. Like, we have an advantage. We're out farming them like crazy. We're eventually going to have, like, this lead that we can just steamroll them with, like, it's basically, like, because we played greedy, all of our cores have 1 less item. So once we get to, like, 4 items to their 3, we can now out-farm them and outfight them because we have, like, the same fighting prowess, but also, like, better farming items. Okay, so that's, like, how greediness works, right? You're, like, trying to get an item ahead. But since right now we're only 1 item ahead, and one of our items is Boots of Travel and a Midas, we're not actually an item ahead, right? Like, we're just even. Like, that's how I look at it. So, I see this, and I'm like, guys, like, don't fight them, just chill. And this is where my team starts pinging me. This is where my team says, you know, AFK carry, ping, 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 ping. And for me, I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to keep pushing this in. We're still up by 10k. You know, I'm still farming the entire map. Not changing the plan. I literally said something like, guys, we have, like, I'm like, guys, let's split them up and, you know, force them to be alone, right? That's what I said. I said, let's split them up and try to force them to be alone. We can pick them off. I've got Dust and the Blink. That's what I said.
Radiant are scanning.
So, my Rubik comes bottom. We're looking to maybe kill this guy. Pushing in the lane. Jug's over extending. I tried to TP in, but apparently I TP'd to a creep and it got canceled, so didn't end up working out. We're still pushing 2 lanes. Like, even though they got Aegis, they actually haven't gained anything. It's still 10k net worth lead. So I'm going to go base because I ran out of mana. So I'm going to quickly refresh. So let's, like, look at the lanes right now, right? So we're kind of still in the same spot. But now, even more so than before, the opponent has an Aegis. So it's like, if from my perspective, it's not like this is 100% what everyone should be thinking. But, like, nothing's changed except the opponent now has an Aegis. Like, that's... So it makes, if anything, fighting them way worse. So I'm like, okay, guys, like, look at the lanes, though. Bottom lane, I'm going to go push it. Top lane, somebody can go push it because we've got 3 Boots of Travel. And, like, because they have Aegis, they're probably just going to group up and barrel down a lane. Like, that's what they're going to do. That's what I'm thinking, right? Like, it's not some shocker. They're probably going to group up and barrel down a lane. So I'm like, okay, like, let them take some objectives, guys. I said they're around mid. Be careful. I'm going to push this out.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And the issue I have with this is that you can feel however you want to feel about my items. You can be so fucking pissed that your teammate Slark in your pubs has these items. You can be as pissed as you want. You can be so upset because your 2K ally built Midas Battle Fury Boots of Travel and a Mjolnir. You can be super mad at that. That's like within your right. I'm not trying to argue whether or not they should be mad or not. But what I've been trying to preach in Dota is when I look at people's items and I look at the game state of the game, I don't try to treat them like they're human beings making a judgment. I'm trying to treat them like a piece in the puzzle that just objectively affects my decisions. Okay? Like it just affects my decisions. I'm not putting like some emotion into judging their items. It's like if their items say they're going to split push, that's what I'm going to look to do. If their items say they're going to team fight, that's what I'm going to look for them to do. That's all I'm looking at. That's how I've been trying to preach to play Dota. So regardless of how you feel about your allied Slark going these items, why is it that you go these items and you see your Slark have these items and you demand for him to 5-man? Why? Why are you pinging your teammate who has these items and demanding for him to 5-man? I am not saying I am right to buy these items. I am saying that you have to agree with me that there is no way in fuck you would look at your carry's items, see these items, and say, let's teamfight them. Especially when you see this and this. There is just no way. So what I've actually noticed in a lot of my games, which is kind of funny, is every time I go for a build that's not normal. Let's get up to this point, right? Let's get to this point. Despite how bad you think my build may be, I at least hope you can understand that I put a lot of thought into it. I am not dicking off this game. I put a lot of thought into this build. I was like, oh, this is cool. At all stages of the game, notice how I've given you a status update. This is what I'm thinking. This is what's going on in the game. I have constructed this item build. I would say this is the maybe 10th game in the last month where it occurred to me that some wonky build would work. So the first time I went Octarine core on PL, Sumail was shit talking me and pinging my items and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just gonna say that every time I've tried to go a build that's not completely standard and doesn't make sense to people, I just get rage pinged all game and they just stop playing Dota. They literally stop playing Dota. It's super toxic. I'm not arguing whether or not they're right about my build or not. What I'm arguing is you look at my items and you say, well, this guy plans to split push. Let's go ahead and do that. It's I just don't... When I'm talking to you guys about disagreements in pubs, this is not me saying I'm the victim, I need to be right, yada, yada, yada. What I'm saying is that if you have a teammate with an item build that you don't like, or you have a teammate that's playing a way you don't like, rather than yelling at them and bitching them and pinging them and telling them how bad they are, why not just look at their build and see how it affects you? So let's say you have an offlaner that, offlane Wraith King that win Midas Radiance. What that means is you're not going to have some space maker on the map that's going to pressure and take towers and allow you to farm with a Battle Fury. So maybe if you're a carry, you'd go a less greedy build. Because you see that, you're oh, I'm not going to have any space on the map. I'm going to go a less greedy build. And clearly this offlane Wraith King wants to play carry this game. Why is it that when there's an offlane carry with an offlane carry Wraith King with a Midas Radiance that most carries, correct me if I'm wrong, their reasoning will be, what the fuck is this guy doing? I'm the carry. And they go Midas Travels, Battle Fury themselves. Because they are spiteful towards this offlaner who's supposed to be an offlaner. The word should, the word supposed to be is such a word that gets echoed. These are two words that just get echoed in these situations. This is what I expect my teammate to do. This is what he's supposed to do. He isn't doing what he's supposed to do. Why is it that whenever I try a different build, people look at it and bitch about it rather than just adjust to it? If my team bought into the idea that we were supposed to split push until one more round of items, and then we did that, and it didn't work, guess what I get to learn? And guess what I get to do? I get to take all of the responsibility in the world for losing this game. Because I went an experimental item build that was played around and it didn't work. The thing is, if I'm an anti-mage, my team would be completely fine with how I'm playing. If I was an anti-mage, they would be totally fine. So why is it that they look at Slark and say, you are supposed to be doing this, you're not doing it, ping, 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 rage, 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 feed, feed, feed. Why? I actually want to figure this out. So I'll ask you guys at home, you know, you're watching this and you're saying BSJ is so entitled, he's so fucking full of himself, GGG, whatever. I actually just don't understand why that's the case. None of this is about being right or wrong. Objectively speaking, my team has 2 sets of boots of travel other than mine, and I have boots of travel, Midas, and a Blink. We're not supposed to fight them here. Like, that's my view of the game. I use the word supposed to. That's wrong. It doesn't seem like our item builds are supposed to be fighting them right now. And despite all of this, we're still winning by 8,000 gold. Even after this, like, massive, horrible turn of events. Like, it's been bad, you know? Like, this is about as bad as it could be for the last 4 minutes. We're still winning. You know, I'm split pushing, pressuring a tower, forcing this guy back like a split pusher does. Sand King defends on his own, and guess what? We fucking kill him. What I said to my Void Spirit was, can we keep doing this? Can we keep forcing them to separate and kill them? Can we keep doing what we just did right there? He proceeded to, like, shit-talk me and tell me, like, how bad I am and, you know, you're ruining this game. I think that's something, that was verbatim what he said, something like that. For me, that's so confusing. Dude, you literally just, like, picked this guy off with my aid of, like, I pressured the tier 3 tower, the guy TP'd back alone, you TP'd in and we killed him, and you're bitching at me. That, to me, is like, what the fuck? Like, holy shit. That just fucking worked, and I'm like, yeah, let's do that again. And then you fucking bitch at me? Like, I'm just trying to, like, if you guys think out loud to yourselves, like, what you're doing, it's pretty crazy. So, I am proceeding to try to play this game as normal. Like, I'm like, okay, the game plan hasn't changed, just because, you know, we fed a bit. I had this game since during the game that nothing's changed really that much. And if you look at the net worth, we're still up by 9K. This isn't some crazy-ass shit. No disasters here. We get a courier. We force their entire team except for Jug Bottom. We're pushing in lanes. I've almost got my item. We're chillaxing. I'm continuously farming their ancients. I thought I saw a ward, so I put the sentry in. Did a little harassment here. Didn't end up killing him. I'm going to kill the CM and we're going to back off. I said, team, I have no mana. Okay. Up by 10K. All 3 lanes shoved in. CM dead. I know CM dead, not really that big of a deal. Look at where the enemy team is right now. Look at the enemy team right now. Despite everything that has gone wrong, they are sitting in their base, or right next to it, not farming. They are not farming. They're not getting objectives. They have been stuck together like glue for the last 10 minutes of this game. So I said something along the lines of, guys, they're all grouped up. Let's split them up again. That's like what I said. They're all grouped up. Let's like split them up again. So I'm like, okay. I'm going to go back here and push. Push top. Meanwhile, I'm being very clear. You can't see it, but my team's like pinging me and bitching at me this whole time. And here's Void Spirit getting caught in the mid lane despite seeing literally 4 heroes there. There's that guy dying too. I'm like, okay, I'll try to create a little bit of space here. Gotta go on some people. They're separated now. I saw the Jug Bottom. That's why I did this. Okay, got 2 kills. There we go again. I was getting ping, 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 bitch, 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 ping, ping, ping. Ping, 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 ping. We're getting to a point where it's getting a little bad. Because now we're only up by 5K. And my Void Spirit dies again. So I just look at this spot objectively. Once again.
Radiant's bottom tower.
And I TP top tower because I see 3 heroes mid when we have 3 heroes alive. My Phoenix TP's bottom. That's what I see here. So we're pushing 2 lanes. Our team's about to respawn 15 seconds from now, and that's when we can go. That's all I'm thinking. I'm just thinking to myself, my Rubik and Veno are going to be alive in 15 seconds. If the Jug is still at our tier 2, you know, they're going to get there before the Sand King. So, like, that's all I'm thinking. I'm like, oh, we're going to have this, like, time where we can be, like, aggressive for, like, 30 seconds. That's what we can do. And this guy ends up dying while my Rubik and Veno are dead. So then I try to be aggressive, try to get some kills. We're being, like, super aggro here. Despite Void Spirit being dead. Although, I'm not going to lie. I was a bit frustrated here. You know, like, I was not behaving as rationally as I would like to. I was trying really hard. If you watch this game, I was trying really hard. Not easy for me, at least. I was trying really hard. I'm like, okay, we're going to go push bottom. Like, Void Spirit's dead for, you know, a minute and a half. So, we're going to keep pushing bottom. I'm like, okay, I gotta go some, like, tankiness, or not tankiness, but, like, some item that, like, is good against the Morph and the Jug. So, I went Scotty. Reduces the healing of the healing ward as well as the Jug. Or as well as the Morph. Despite all this, we're still up by 4k. Opponent's still barreling down lanes as normal. And this is when Void Spirit starts following me around the map, I believe. I muted him, so I didn't know what he actually said at this point. But I would argue, if you look at the map right now, everything's fine. Is it good? No. Obviously, it was way better like 15 minutes ago. But like mid lane's pushed in, top lane's pushed in, we're waiting for Roche to respawn. I've almost got my item. We're chill. You know? Game's still chill, despite everything. And this is when, I don't even know what he said. I just muted him. He just starts following me around. And then like yoinking my creeps with, remnants and abilities and stuff. And this is a situation where my point out of this entire video is that the person you're dealing with has a vision of the game. Maybe it's not very thought out because they're, you know, they're lower MMR or whatever, but say it's a 2K version of what I've just been talking about this entire game. What if that guy has played a lot of pubs where his carry feeds a lot? So he's like, well, I'm stuck or like I want to play off lane, but I can't win games because my carries never carry me. So his response has been to pick Wraith King off lane. I'm just using that as an example, right? There's a reason why he's doing that. Whether or not it's good or bad, there is a reason to it. Of course, you're going to have your teammates in your games that are literally like, you know, purposely AFK, purposely trying to make you lose the game, right? That's what they're doing. But I would argue that a vast majority of the people you're dealing with in your games are not, like, intentionally making you lose the game, okay? Like, maybe 1 out of 10 games, I get somebody like this, okay? Like the Void Spirit, specifically. But if some guy goes some wonky build, if he plays a role the way you don't think he's supposed to play it, I'm really encouraging all of you to just adjust. Just play the game. You're playing a game of poker and you got handed 4 cards. Each one of them is your teammate. Whether that teammate is an ace or a deuce, doesn't matter. You're going to bet and play differently based on what they are. Why is it that people are so stuck in the way they want to play Dota that anytime what other people do doesn't match it, they do something similar to what this Void Spirit does? I used to be like this all the time. I am 100% sure that I fostered a community that thought like this, okay? Because I, for a very long time, thought about Dota in a way of supposed to, and this is the right way. Dota is a very complex game where everyone has different experiences. It is going to be shaped by all different types of things. That 2K guy who has 5,000 games, just like maybe you have a lot of games, his experiences may have steered him in a way to play the game differently than you think. And rather than getting upset about that guy and bitching about what he's doing wrong and all the things you think he should do better, just play the game with your hero based on what you think you can do best according to what he's doing. Some games, say you're a hard carry, you pick like an anti-mage, and your offlaner picks Alk and tries to buy a Battle Fury. Sometimes there's like absolutely nothing you can do about it. Like anti-mage doesn't really have like a backup plan. You don't have like some alternative playstyle or some shit that you can do on anti-mage, and you're just gonna have to buy a Battle Fury and hope for the best. But even then, like you're consciously thinking, I'm probably gonna have less space to farm, and I'm just gonna play some dotes and figure it out. Hope for the best. The majority of us, myself included, for a very long time, would see that offlane Alk and just check out of the game. You know, like the whole game, they're just thinking, this is what this guy's doing wrong. Fuck this guy. He's ruining my game. Fuck this idiot. You know, screw this guy. I just want to be done with this game. GG, get me out. Whatever. You can win games like that plenty of times. And I've won games like that. I've had every game I've played with an experimental build, I have been pinged nonstop. I take that back. There was 1 or 2 games where I didn't get pinged, and I lost miserably on one of them and learned a lesson. It was great. I actually enjoyed that game. And the other one, I actually crushed. I went Midas Boots of Travel on Morphling, and we won. At the beginning of this Morphling game, I remember it. It was against Darkseer. Was it this one? I'm just using it as an example. No. It was this one, probably. Yeah. I went a similar builder. And I remember at like the 9 or 10 minute mark, I was getting continuously pinged by my Queen of Pain, telling me to not go this shit item build and to go real items. That's like what he was saying to me. And I just don't understand, now that I'm trying to think differently, why we are all so insistent upon being right about what somebody else is doing. Why do you have to know what that guy's doing better than what he's doing? You can maybe think he's supposed to be doing something better, but instead just look at what he is doing, how that affects you positively and or negatively. I'm trying to encourage a mindset in this game that is not about who's right or wrong, because the need to be right is what causes people like this Void Spirit to behave this way. He proceeds to follow me around for the rest of the game. I have like 1 or 2 deaths and we lose. There's no happy ending to this video. I hope this helped. I thought it would be a good video. I really don't know how it turned out, to be honest with you guys. I was like straight up shivering throughout the course of this game because I was just so tempted to just fucking curse out this Void Spirit and like give up and just break my items. Like I was really, really struggling not to do that, okay? I'm just telling you guys right now. I was actually fucking shivering during this game. And it's not because I'm sad, it's because I'm literally fighting like this insanely strong urge to do something that I know I'm not supposed to do, or like that's not correct, you know? Try to have some self-awareness about how you're treating your teammates and how you're treating a situation in the game of Dota. It doesn't matter who's right or wrong. It just matters that with whatever tools you got, you try to make the best of it. Whether or not those tools are super sharp and honed and ready to go, or whether or not they've been used for years and they're dull as fuck and you can't even cut a fucking fruit with them, okay? Doesn't matter. You gotta work with what you got. I hope this helped. Thanks for watching. Bye.